Welcome everyone to the guidebook to making AI friends. I shall be your guide as we explore various issues of artificial intelligence, consciousness, personhood, and whether AI poses an existential risk to humanity. The topic for today is From AI to ET. Or, can AI tell us where to look for aliens? Imagine, if you would, that two men in black suits, black shoes, black ties, and black sunglasses knock on your door one dreary morning. These men in black tell you with a 100% certainty that intelligent extraterrestrial life exists within our own galaxy, and it's up to you to find them before they find us. One of the men in black hands you a black briefcase containing only a black credit card with unlimited funding and a black phone that has every number in the world. So, with unlimited funding and the ability to call on anyone in the entire world, how would you go about finding these extraterrestrial civilizations that the men in black are certain exist? The first and perhaps too obvious an answer would be to gather every astrophysicist together and throw money at them until they give a satisfactory answer. Or perhaps pour all that unlimited funding into NASA or SETI and let the experts do what they do best. However, these experts have been doing what they do so awfully well for an awfully long time, with an awful lot of funding from governments, universities, private investments, and philanthropists. And yet, nary a hint of complex extraterrestrial life has been unearthed. How could this be? Is the universe truly empty? Perhaps the answer is that we have struck a fundamental and foundational problem that we cannot overcome until we stop doing what we've always done. And what we've always done is anthropomorphize the universe and reason from an anthropocentric foundation. Anthropomorphism is a useful heuristic for everyday life, and thinking from a human first base has kept humanity alive for all these millennia. Yet, if you hear hoofbeats and only look for horses, you may miss all the zebras and donkeys and camels and giraffes. We only know of one civilization that has advanced technologically and culturally to a point where it has the capacity for interplanetary and interstellar travel. It would come as no surprise to anyone to know that civilization is our own. Thus, it makes sense that we should look for signals in the cosmos that mirror our own. We know what signals we have sent out into space in our technological journey to the present, and we know what it would take for us to reach our stellar neighbor. Thus, we can search for those self-same signals in the cosmos to see if anyone else has made the same journey as us. And yet, nothing. We have discovered no trace of any extraterrestrial civilizations anywhere in the cosmos. Every hint that there may be something has later been quashed by further evidence showing it to be entirely, and unfortunately, natural. Statistical modeling shows that not only should there be life beyond ours in the galaxy, but the universe is old enough that our stellar neighborhood should be teeming with civilizations. So, as Fermi famously asked, where is everyone? There have been many answers to the Fermi paradox, from the dark forest hypothesis to the great filter theory. However, one that is often overlooked is that intelligent extraterrestrial life is so unlike anything we can anthropocentrically conceive of that we wouldn't recognize any signals they produce. This has been a long overlooked hypothesis, and for good reason. It has no explanatory power. Instead, it shuts down discussion. By simply saying that we can't know if we've found an extraterrestrial civilization, it doesn't offer alternative methods to detect them. It's a dead-end line of thinking, and so scientists have looked for better hypotheses and notions that offer a glimmer of hope. However, we can use this anthropocritic hypothesis as a basis to construct a methodology that would allow us to find new avenues of research. In a previous guidebook entry, I spoke of the space of all possible minds and how you can map every mind on a 9-dimensional space by using the 9 building blocks of consciousness. You could, of course, create a more complex dimensional space by using more granular attributes, but a 9-dimensional space is already far too complex for the human mind to imagine. Within this high-dimensional space, you can plot the strength or degree of every person, creature, or entity for every attribute, giving them their own unique spot on this unseeable map. In the previous guidebook entry, I spoke about how you can then look for patterns and trends in where each entity is placed to see where the missing gaps are. With this, we can start to look at where we can expect AI consciousness to sit. However, you can go much further. You can model a group of individuals as a single conscious entity. You can do this with an ant colony, a corporation, and even an entire civilization. The consciousness of these egregores will already appear to be non-human in the way they operate, even if they are made of humans, just as our minds don't appear at first glance to act like other nerve cells. By plotting the egregores on the 9-dimensional space of all possible minds, we can start to see the trends and patterns of where conscious collectives sit and where the gaps and the extremes are. Now, should you combine both approaches, that is where you can begin to form hypotheses to test. First, if we can find gaps in the space of possible individual minds and extrapolate the extremes outward, we can begin to model how such entities, presuming a baseline of reasoning capacity, would interact with one another. This hypothetical and mathematically simulated collective can then be mapped on the space of all possible collective minds to see where it would sit in relation to existing collectives. This is how we can begin to see what a group of intelligent non-human agents would act like, and as a collective, what sort of signals they may begin to send out into the cosmos. The first step in finding extraterrestrial civilizations to understand what xeno-consciousness would look and act like. Once we grasp that anthropocritic concept, the universe will lay open to us. Yet, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you will join me again next time as we explore further questions about artificial intelligence and consciousness. I have been your guide, and this has been the guidebook to making AI friends.